Welcome, welcome. Come on in, get settled. We still have some women arriving. And yeah, I'm gonna get started, but I do just want to it's always really important for me to say thank you because you are choosing to spend your time here tonight and your time is valuable. And for me, it's always a big honor to be in community and to be with like-minded human beings. And I know that we're all learning from each other and supporting each other. And so yeah, my deepest gratitude. And I come with a lot of humility and excitement as well. I've been preparing this and working on it. And for me, it really is so much more than a masterclass. Like we have to label things something. But for me, this is really a conversation and an experience and a place to remember and reclaim the truth of who we are. And I want to get started today the way that I like to start anything that I do when I'm sharing and in my own life as well. I think it can be very easy to jump into things, and sometimes we're rushing from one thing to the next. So we don't have to make it complicated. Actually, it can be quite simple. And one of the easiest, quickest ways that we can allow ourselves to ground and to settle in is to use our beautiful breath. So we'll do 3 cleansing, audible, open mouth exhales. So you can get weird, you can get funky, let yourself be heard. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that together. You can have your eyes opened or closed. You decide what feels good for you in your body. But we'll all exhale any air that we have in our system, letting it go. Inhaling deeply. And exhale to release. 2 more times like that. It's a big breath in. And then exhale to soften, to release. One more time. Big breath in. And exhale to let go. Make some sound. And we'll move just a little bit from wherever you're seated. So if you'd like, you can start to roll your shoulders a little bit. Sweet shoulders. And what's so cool about the way we are designed is that coming into the present moment, we can make it feel like it's quite complicated and we can switch, go the other way. But the simplest ways that I have found is just to start to feel that the sensations of your body, like feel your shoulders right now. And when you're feeling the sensations in your body, there is no other place to be but in this moment. And maybe you want to bring your shoulders in, squeeze them to your ears, and then let them go. And we'll do some rolls with our head just to get a little bit more movement in the neck. So you can do half circles or full circles. And maybe continuing to be aware of your breath. So the breath is another amazing tool that we've been given to basically speak directly to our nervous system. And when we start to slow down the breath and maybe even extend our exhales, we're basically communicating and saying, hey, it's okay, we're safe, we can relax. And so any other little movements that feel good for you. Ah. And these pauses are just so they can be quite simple and easy to implement or to integrate into our life. So before we cook dinner, in the middle of cooking dinner, before we sit down to write the email, before a conversation, and it doesn't take very long. I would love to share with you another little tool that you can use. And everything that I'm sharing today is intentionally designed to be simple and bite size. I like that, bite size, so that we can have it in our pocket whenever we need. So you might be familiar with this breath, but it's inhaling by the count of 4 and exhaling for the count of 6. So we're going to do our best to keep this breath in and out through the nose and to stay relaxed. I will invite you to soften the eye gaze or to close the eyes completely. You can decide what feels yummy for you. We won't be here for very long. We'll just do a couple rounds together. So as you close the eyes, perhaps feeling like you are allowing your eyes to sink back into your skull. Sorry, that was the wrong song. Your eyes sink back into your skull a little bit, into the back of your head. And down into the throat. And then feeling as though your eyes drop all the way down into your belly. So exhaling any stale air that you have in your system, letting it go. And inhaling through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale fully. 3, 2, 1. Exhale completely. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, soft, filling yourself up. And exhale to release, softening. We'll just do 2 more rounds like this. Inhaling through the nose. And exhale to let it go. And we'll take an inhale and pause at the top of the inhale. And as you pause with the breath held, see if you can relax the shoulders, relax the jaw, the face, the eyes. And go ahead and exhale and release when you feel ready. And you're more than welcome to open your eyes and bring yourself back into the space. I'm just noticing if there are any small or obvious shifts from just taking those couple of minutes to breathe intentionally. And asking yourself, how can I tend to myself for the next 75 minutes? Well, a little bit less now, the next 60 minutes. What would help you to feel grounded, to feel safe, to feel present for this experience? Maybe you receive something right away, or or not. Notice if you get a little bit in your head and you start to complicate it. So just come back to your breath. And so in this way, we get to practice being in the field of trust and practice being in the field of listening to see how you can show up as your own best friend and support you in whatever you're doing. It can be so simple. Maybe it's grabbing a blanket or a glass of water. Maybe it's remembering to soften your shoulders, to give yourself permission to stretch, to move. Maybe it's just simply deciding that you're going to be extra kind to yourself. All right. So hopefully we all feel present, we feel here, a little bit more grounded, maybe a little bit more connected. And I just want you to know that you are not only encouraged, but you are super celebrated, at least from my end, whenever you take time to follow that nudge and to really care for yourself in whatever way that looks like. Like we need more of that. It's so beautiful to see. And you can't offend anyone here, I'm pretty sure. So as we move into today, I also really love to remind people that it's just take the permission that you can, that there may be some things that resonate with you and that just really touch your heart and you love it and maybe you want to take it and run with it, and that's so wonderful. And that's my prayer. But also, if there's something that you're like, I don't know about that, or that doesn't feel right for me, then leave it. And the saying is, take what serves you and leave the rest. And I'm a big believer in that, because in the end, like, you know you better than anyone else. And that's going to help continue to really establish that deeper sense of trust in yourself and your intuition. So for today, I'm going to share a little bit in the beginning. So I will be speaking, and I'm going to not take very long to do that because what I promised was an experience. So we'll move into the practice after that. And then there will be some space for us to get to share for anyone who wants to share about their experience. It's personally my favorite part, and a wonderful opportunity to practice just being vulnerable, speaking from the heart, and witnessing other beautiful women. At the end, there will be an invitation to continue with this work, and I will speak a little bit about my group month, or my my group container, which meets monthly. And it's called Inner Sanctuary. So just know that we'll be at the end waiting for you. And yeah, I think that's about it. So from everything that I've put out there, probably you know a good amount about my story. And so you know, or yeah, you probably know that I've been on this journey, not forever, because I'm still young, but I have been um a little, I approached life kind of as a seeker for a while. And I started getting into spirituality and self-development probably like in college. Like mindfulness, like the word mindfulness was like not even in my vocabulary probably until then. And I got to travel, which just blew me out of the water. And then I really dove in deep, probably like 7 or 8 years ago. And so much like you, I'm sure, like we've been exposed to so much beauty, like wonderful teachers, incredible places, modalities where we're like, this is probably it. This is the one. practices. And it's been wonderful. And a lot of them have really shaped who I am and how I operate in the world. Uh, but there has come a point where I've just become a little bit less interested in these peak experiences, like top of the mountain kind of experience. And how do I bring the medicine of these experiences into the valley, especially into the valley when life feels really hard, um, but also into my everyday life and my ordinary reality. And how do those moments affect the way that I'm relating to myself, my relationship with the divine, with my partner, with my community, with my work. I think a lot of life is relationships. So it's how does that uh, support me in creating the beautiful life that my heart really longs for and desires? So simply put, I have kind of been really fascinated with this question for the last couple of years is like how is it that we have experiences that can feel so profound and so life-changing? Like it definitely feels like there's a before and an after. Like we are for sure going to be different after this. And then somehow we find ourselves back in similar patterns. It's like it can be a couple days later, a couple weeks, if we're lucky, a couple months. And it might not be the exact same, but there's these old grooves that we kind of fall back into. And I would assume that you have also had just like really mind opening experiences, right? Maybe it was a breathwork journey where you just had this like wild spiritual experience or a conversation where it just like completely opened up something in your soul or I don't know, a podcast. I mean, honestly, podcasts. I've had a crazy spiritual experiences with podcasts. I'm like, are you speaking directly to my soul? What is happening? So there's a myriad of ways that this can happen. But the point is when these things happen, there's something that gets really clear, right? There's like this alignment that happens and you can feel it. Like, and there's this remembrance. And it's not so cognitive, but you just feel really connected and alive and really present. I think you know what I'm speaking to. So when perhaps we start to second guess ourselves or we start to feel overwhelmed or maybe we open up and we start to question things we've kind of already processed and put to the side. um, it can be really disheartening, and there may even be a tendency to think like we've done something wrong or something is wrong. So hopefully we can reframe that today because I don't believe that's the case. There's an amazing analogy, and I have to figure out who I can give the credit to, but right now I don't know. So you'll have to bear with me. But um, it it's that many of us spend years in a kind of waiting room. The waiting room will look different for everyone. For some people, the waiting room is, waiting until they meet the perfect partner, until they get that job that really satisfies them, retirement. Maybe for people that are, I don't know, maybe a little bit less interested in the matrix and the material world, waiting until we heal that one thing, waiting until we feel more confident, that we've done enough work, that we've figured it out. And my favorite crazy one that we do to ourselves is that we wait until we finally become the person that we think we're supposed to be. I have full goosebumps right now because I'll just let that hit you where it needs to hit you. But it's so wild. But the person that we've projected this idea of who we're supposed to be, and we're waiting for that person to arrive. So the waiting room and the profound experience. So I think why those experiences feel so magical is because for a moment we step outside of the waiting room. For a moment, we're not waiting for anything. We're just here. And it doesn't necessarily mean the peak experience is like complete bliss. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's just the snot and like the grief and the wow, this is a huge thing is coming through me. But we're so in it and it's so visceral and real. And we're alive. Like we are really alive in those moments. And we are not waiting for anything. It's just we are here. And I'm really curious, like, how do we stop treating those moments as like an exception that we get to tap into sometimes? And how do we begin living from that place a little bit more consistently? And when we're not there, that we don't assume something went wrong, that we don't think that, oh, I've lost it, or maybe that experience, it just didn't work. Or I need to go back. I better go back to that retreat one more time and make sure it really, really gets it this time. I'm laughing because I'm speaking to myself. So I don't know. But really, 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 what if nothing went wrong? What if everything's okay? I don't know. Just try it on for size. So these experiences, we can think about these moments where we're really aligned and we're present and we're here um as a spark. And maybe it's just that we've never been taught how to tend that spark, how to tend the fire. I love the natural world. I love the elements. I love analogies. So I'm gonna get into a fire analogy. I hope you don't mind. Um, so the fire doesn't stay alive just because it like had a really good spark once. It's like, yeah, sparked, and now I'm just flaming forever. Like we've all had a campfire, and we know that in that it needs to be tended to. It needs fuel. It needs attention. It needs care. Or it will go out. And I'm kind of at the place where I believe like our relationship with ourselves is very similar. Um, and the tending to our inner fire is not necessarily through willpower. I think a lot of us have been conditioned or somehow it's seeped into us that the healing process, we just like brute force, we got to try harder, we got to do more. Sometimes we're just in a lot of pain. And so we're like, just please fix this, right? And because that was me and still is sometimes when I am not being mindful of the way that I'm approaching my life and my practices. And so what is so much sweeter and so much more tender and so much more juicy is thinking about this tending as a relationship to devotion. Devotion is one of my favorite words. And um I don't really think about it as like a religious sort of thing, but if it that is that how you see it, that's totally fine. For me, devotion is a sense of this just continual returning. Just I'm coming back and I'm listening and I'm paying attention and I'm showing up again and again and again. And it's just this devotion. And part of that relationship is our ability to listen. And the quality of our life is deeply influenced by the quality of our listening. This is a really good one, um, that I'm really sitting with. Can you listen to yourself the way you would listen to someone you deeply love? Can you listen to yourself like someone you deeply love? And just to clarify, deep listening is not listening to fix or to analyze or to try to find the right answer. When we are in a state of deep listening, we are in a space of presence, of compassion. There is a unity, there is a symbiosis, a harmony that is created, uh, that is so beautiful and very peaceful and very present. And so it's so easy to become incredibly skilled at listening to everyone else. And we have sometimes we lose touch with our own inner voice. So what I have been sharing, is that I really don't believe that most of us need another breakthrough. Those come naturally. Like it's more that we don't need to chase those things. I think the that all of us are carrying a profound wisdom that is like it's just coursing through you because you are divinity expressed. It's just natural. Like you can't escape it. It's there. And the challenge is how do we stay connected to it? Because it's there. So I realize I've been speaking for kind of a long time. I want to say one more thing and then I'm going to go into the practice. I hope things are clicking and you're enjoying. Um, yeah. The last thing that I want to share before we go into the practice is I believe that there's a really important shift that needs to be made. And I mentioned it earlier that I said I was a bit of a seeker. And some people say that very proudly. That's fine. Um, but I want to point out that there is a difference between seeking and discovery. Seeking kind of assumes that there's something missing. And discovery is like, it's almost like you're waiting for something to be revealed. It's like, it's already here. And it's just like, when are we going to find it? But it's here already. And what I love is that part of this process of evolution, of developing as a human being, of awakening, whatever you want to label it, becoming, is that it's part of our responsibility to create the conditions for this discovery to happen naturally. It's wild because we can't force it. We can't force getting in the flow or being present or being grounded, but we can show up to the best of our ability consistently enough to create the conditions for these moments of remembrance to happen. And it's usually kind of spontaneous and when we least expect it. And that's why it's such a such a fun and interesting experience. I was gonna say a game. It kind of sometimes feels like we're in a game. And so, yeah, when we are devoted, it's really important that when we have practices that you may have, and I totally get it. Like sometimes we're really consistent and sometimes we're not, and sometimes it's just like a toss in the wind to see if we show up and do something. But when we do decide to show up, that we don't use, and this is going to tie into what we're doing to really remember that we're not using these practices as vehicles to get somewhere else. Instead, it's just like a way to tend to the fire. It's a way to stay in relationship, a way to clear the channel, to stay connected to ourselves. And not just the personality self, like the you, but the totality of life itself as the divinity and eternal that is expressed in you, that is so real. And it's just the most beautiful unfolding. And if we can do our best to remember that whenever we sit down to breathe or to move or to read, that we're not doing this to get somewhere else. It's the vehicle itself to be right here. And it feels so much better. It really, really does. Yeah, so thank you for listening. I had a lot of fun preparing that and deciding what I wanted to share, so I trust that something lands for you. So I want to move our bodies just a little bit. So I'll ask you to go ahead and stand up. And I think I'm just going to put a little bit of music on so that we can enjoy that in the background, just softly. All right. All right. So you can come to a standing position. And have a generous stance between your feet. Get a soft bend in the knees. And we're going to go ahead and sway our arms from side to side. So a little bit of movements for the spine, and you can allow your arms to flop from side to side. And I will super encourage you, if the mind starts wandering around and you're in your own space, right? So sometimes when we're in our own house, we can get distracted. So I encourage you to come back to just the feelings of your arms flopping around and maybe even coming back to your breath a little bit. Good. And slowly we'll start to bring ourselves back to center. And we'll start to bounce just a little bit here. So this can be really subtle. It can be soft. Maybe you don't have a lot of energy. You don't want to move very much. That's totally fine. Maybe you really want to like shake it out. That's also great. I really like to focus on my exhales when I'm bouncing. So similar to what we did in the beginning, you can have an open mouth exhale, just really releasing, letting go. We're encouraging our blood circulation, so the chi, your life force energy, releasing any stagnation. We're going to bounce just a little bit longer than feels comfortable. And slowly, you can start to bring yourself back to neutral, releasing the bouncing. Let's interlace our hands and flip our palms up, reach for the sky. Relax the shoulders. And then if you'd like, you can arch over to one side. And if anything that I'm suggesting doesn't feel good for you, other side, then move in a way that feels good for you. There are no rules. And go ahead and release the arms. One more here. We'll interlace the hands behind your back. And reaching your hands back and down, opening through your heart, and maybe even opening the throat just a little bit. Taking a big breath here, inhaling fully. Exhaling deeply. And you can slowly go ahead and release. We'll come back to our seat. Something that I have been super enjoying recently is a little bit of self-massage. So this, again, designed for it to be easy and simple to remember that you can bring with you. So the arm swings, the bouncing, I love doing that in the morning. The face massage is really nice in the morning also, but it's a nice way also to relax everything before you go to bed, maybe. So we're going to start first by taking our hands, and you can either tap your skull, or you can maybe you have some nails and you can like give yourself little head scratches, or you can actually massage into the scalp. So allow yourself to explore and see what feels yummy. See if you can get most of your head. So don't forget down at the base of your skull towards your neck. So every time that we focus on our exhales and we sigh, the body is like, oh, good, we're relaxing, wonderful. So let's bring this massage down to our face a little bit. So you can take your pointer fingers and put them on the inside of your brow bone. And you can even put your elbows maybe on the desk in front of you and lean into it. And just be gentle, but a lot of us carry a lot of tension here in the brow bone. This can feel really good. You can be still and just hold it, or maybe if you want to sweep the fingers across the brow bone, you can do that a couple times. And then perhaps moving down to the temples and just gently massaging the temples, and maybe circles in the direction towards the eyes. Good. And then perhaps working your way down into the jaw. I like to open my mouth slightly when I massage the jaw. And again, you can make circles here, circling towards the mouth. Wow. For some of us, this can be quite tender. So again, be gentle with yourself. And then let's sweep the fingers down the sides of the face towards the chin just a couple times. And then we're going to use our peace fingers to get behind the ears, the little bony bits behind the ears. And so this is starting to get into our vagal nerve. So again, just little circles on the bone, circles towards the jaw. Maybe sweeping down and then going back to the top and just doing that a couple times. And so this nerve is super important and very much connected to our nervous system and our ability to relax. And it's connected to a lot of our organs. And so we can actually stimulate it. And this is one of the ways we can do that. And then you'll continue those circles down the sides of the neck. Just finding a gentle pressure. Perhaps massaging a little bit in the shoulder. I like to use my opposite hand. Maybe reminding yourself every once in a while to take a deep breath. And the other side. So it's just so wonderful, this direct connection with our own body. I really started to enjoy it so much. And I also feel like it's a way to just like feel a little bit of gratitude and to really be present with my body. That's different than movement. We're moving, but I don't know, it feels more intimate. And then let's come to the chest. We're gonna take the tips of our fingers and just tap our chest. Hopefully that doesn't bother the microphone. And let's do some humming. So any pitch, you can just hold one note, you can hum a little melody, but the point is to feel some vibration. Doing that a couple times until the air runs out. And then maybe even opening up the mouth to make an ah sound, which is connected to your heart. Don't be shy. Ah. One time, be brave, allow yourself to be heard. Ah. Ah. Good. And noticing, how do you feel? Simple, sweet, doesn't take too long. So I'm going to share with you all a breathing practice that I absolutely love. I got it from Awaken Breath, which is a couple from New Zealand. And I use this quite often in the mornings before I meditate. And so it's very simple. So you can take this with you as well. We'll be doing a circular style of breath, in through the nose and out through the mouth. You can be seated or you can be lying down. The breathing section doesn't take so long, but we'll move into a visualization afterwards so you can decide what's more comfortable for you. So for the breathing, we do 10 rounds of breath. I'm going to guide you through it, so don't worry. And then we'll hold our breath on full for 10 seconds. And then we'll do 20 rounds of breath. We'll hold on full for 20 seconds. And then we'll go into 30 rounds of breath, and we'll hold for as long as is comfortable for you. So get cozy. If you want to lie down, you can definitely lie down, but you're also fine to be seated. It would just be nice to have something that you can lean your back against so you can be cozy. And so the breath will sound like this, just so you can hear it and get a sense for it. So you'll breathe in and out. In and out. In and out. So we'll do our best to do that pace together. And this is going to quite quickly start to change our state and to be able to access a deeper state of presence. And yeah, so that we can really enjoy the visualization from a more grounded place. So hopefully everyone's ready. I will invite you to close the eyes, soften the gaze at least. And we're going to dive right into it. So we start with 10 rounds. Exhaling any air from your system, let it go. And then inhaling, release. 2, 3, 4. Good. 5. In through the nose, out through the mouth. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Inhaling fully, holding at the top of your inhale for 10, 9, 8, really relaxing, softening the shoulders and the face. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release the breath, maybe make some sound. Good. So we got a feel for it. We're going to go right into our second round, 20 breaths this time. Preparing. Inhale and exhale. In and out. In and out. Fully in and release. Good. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're halfway there. See if you can relax a little bit more, even though you are breathing intentionally. Make any little adjustments so that you're comfortable. Good. Keep going. You're doing an amazing job. We have 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a delicious full breath in and pause, holding at the top of your inhale. As you pause here, you're really relaxing the face, the jaw, the shoulders. Good. Holding and softening. We're here for 10 more seconds if you can. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let it out with some sound. Let it go. All right. So probably you're already really starting to feel a difference. Let's go right into the third and final round. So this will be 30 rounds of breath. So go ahead and prepare. Inhaling and exhaling. Fully in and fully out. Diaphragmatic breaths as best as you can. And while there is a little bit of effort, see if you can release any sort of force or pushing. See if you can enjoy these active breaths. Good. That's already 10. You are halfway there. Stay with it. Good. Last 10. 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. And inviting you to inhale, to hold at the top of your inhale. And as you hold, relax everything. And you can hold for as long as is comfortable and exhale when you need. And whenever you need to release, just allowing your breath to return to a natural rhythm. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do, and just simply resting in the space that you've created. And as you are resting here, enjoying the energy flowing through you and the spaciousness of this moment, I invite you to imagine yourself walking along a path. No need to force an image, just allow whatever comes to come. And I invite you to keep saying yes. So as you are walking on this path, you notice someone in the distance. A woman. And there's something so familiar about her. Something that immediately puts you at ease. And you feel drawn, moving a little bit closer. And you begin to notice her presence. Not necessarily what she's wearing or what she looks like, but how she feels, how she carries herself. And she seems to embody this quality that you have been longing to feel more deeply. With so much ease. It radiates out from her. Noticing what stands out to you as you approach her, the way that she receives you. There seems to be so much compassion and love and understanding. And as you stand before her, if it feels right, you can ask her, "What would you like me to know?" And just pause, create space. See what comes. What would you like me to know? Taking a deep breath. And as you look into her eyes, Allow yourself to realize something. This woman is you. The part of you that remembers. The part of you that has been here all along. Feel what it's like to stop searching, to stop reaching, and to simply recognize the beauty and the magnificence in front of you. She has never been separate. And as you stand together, feel the space between you soften. As you merge into one heart, one presence, one life. Take a breath to really let that sink in. And in just a moment, I'm going to invite you to speak out loud. This is not for me or for anyone else. This is for yourself. You might want to begin with, I am, I choose. Trust what comes. Trust your own voice. Trust your own knowing. And when you're ready, softly just begin speaking your truth out loud. Let your voice be heard. Now bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, and thank yourself for the truth that came through, for what needed to be spoken, for what needed to be remembered. If there's any other things that are coming through, give yourself a little bit more space, or just simply rest in this moment. And as you allow those words to land, see if you can really receive them. How it feels to hear your own voice speak what your heart already knows. And if it feels right, we will end this with a simple remembrance. am free. I am free. I am free to be authentically me, radically me, free to be. Take a breath, feel your body, feel your heart, and remember, there's nowhere to arrive to, just a relationship to tend. And you've been here all along. You might feel good to stretch a little bit, allow yourself to come back into the space, maybe get a drink of water, whatever you need to support yourself. And if you want to share a little bit about what came through for you, you're very welcome. You can unmute yourself. If not, there's no pressure. But I want to make sure that you know that there is space if you want to share anything.
I will share. I relocated, but I will share. That was so perfect. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, it's been a bit of a day, and so the message that came through for me when we're confronted with this version of myself, because I saw a very like indigenous wise woman is who I personally saw when you had first mentioned it, and the message was wisdom lives within you. Wisdom doesn't shout to be heard. Wisdom listens and responds. And that was a big one for me, just in general, because I think I tend to sometimes feel like I need to, like, oh, people are going to misunderstand me. I need to make sure that I'm speaking. I need to make sure that I'm like saying all of my truth. Um, and sometimes I can over explain when it's like, what if we just sat back and listened? And then take it all in and then respond. Because I grew up in a very big family, so it was very much like you had to talk over each other in order to be heard. And whereas this woman was like, no, like wisdom listens and responds. And so that one really, yeah, felt big, felt really big. So I really appreciated the space for that. And just on a personal note, like I came home to a little bit of conflict, and that kind of came up today. And so to
Mm-hmm.
hear that piece of advice was like, oh, this is really going to serve the situation that I'm in because I feel really good. Like, I feel really secure in myself in a new way, which is interesting. Because I know that this kind of thing can go like so many ways, and there are concerns that like other people have expressed about it. But I'm like, I don't know. I just trust that in myself enough, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I trust in myself. I trust that like I've got me. What however it plays out, like I'm okay. Everything's gonna be fine, you know? It's
Yeah.
okay. So it's a really beautiful gift. And so to hear that wisdom thing on top of it was really like, wow. We can breathe, we can relax, we can let go. So, oh, thank you for guiding that. I really appreciate it. It was
Mm. I
juicy.
love it is juicy. That is so one like it never ceases to amaze me, like the messages that come through, and that one's so good.
I can't believe it came through like
I need it.
that.
I'm writing it down. I'm gonna yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because no, because really like I and I was speaking about this the other day, but it's so true. And I think it's something that a lot of us tend to do is like because we want to be understood and we want to be loved and accepted. And so like sometimes, yeah, it goes into yeah, over sharing or over whatever it is. And but I also just love and I want to acknowledge the fact that you are feeling like a deep sense of trust in yourself and that you're like, I got me. That is that
Awesome.
is like we're having a party for you right now.
Like, honestly, it was out of nowhere. I'm like, where did you come from? I don't like, it was just in a conversation, like of hearing other people's worries. And I'm like, huh, that doesn't bother me. I'm not worried about that. Like, it was just such a new, like, huh, okay, we got somewhere new.
Yeah,
Um, and like, just to kind of circle back really quick on that point of like,
yeah.
talk, like sometimes I feel like the talking and over explaining really does come from a place of like, not always, but like desperation. What you were saying earlier about
Mm-hmm.
seeking
Mm-hmm.
versus discovery, right? Whereas, like, you know, the power of people who can, like, speak, like, not say a word, like, maybe they take a really long pause and the whole room's captivated and just like waiting. I'm like, if you're able to do that in a group of people, then it's like, I feel like those are your people versus like, if you can't take that pause for the wisdom to listen and then respond, then it's like maybe it's not so much you, maybe it's just the space that you're in that can't meet you where you're at, and that's okay. We don't need to over
Yeah.
explain in order to be heard, which was my MO. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna hang back, and that's okay too. I don't know. I don't know where I was
It
going
takes
with
no, but
that.
it takes a lot of maturity though, and a lot of like yeah, there's just like a sense of like being settled in your own skin to be able to sit in that discomfort because it is uncomfortable because we oft I mean most of the time it's uncomfortable to just be like I'm not being met where I'm at, right? Uh and to allow that to be okay and to not need to change how you are to meet what's happening around you.
And like giving myself the love and grace, knowing that like I might not have that mastered in every situation, but it's nice to celebrate the situations that have been coming up and be like, oh, we can actually still hold this little container. It's so nice. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, part of the reason why I keep coming back to this work and sharing it the way that I do. And so what we just got to experience is really beautiful. And it is this coming back and this remembering and this returning and slowing down long enough to listen to the wisdom that is just waiting to bubble up and share with us its little pearls, and its jewels. And and at the same time, like because just the way life is, we're gonna get off the Zoom call and life will continue. And and there will always be the dishes, there will always be the people that we get to interact with. Sometimes these are challenges, responsibilities, different patterns. And so life is still moving. And it is just we get to keep meeting life. And I want to bring back the question that I said is how do we stop treating these moments like exceptions? And how do we be able to live from this place just a little bit more consistently? Not perfectly, not all the time, of course. Um, so this is where inner sanctuary comes in because this remembrance is so beautiful, but the remembering isn't really what changes our life. It's the relationship that does. It's the relationship that we keep coming back to, that we keep tending. And it happens through repetition and it happens through coming back again and again and again. So Inner Sanctuary is a 13-week container designed to support women in building the capacity to be able to stay connected to themselves um, long after any sort of masterclass or retreat or after any sort of breakthrough. And it's really, really designed to meet us where we're at and not force us into anything that doesn't feel good, right? So there's just really dropping any ideas of expectation, and coming together to create simple, sustainable ways of weaving this work into our everyday life. That is like my MO. And I get seriously excited about like, how do we just like have a little moment here and here? Because it makes such a big difference. And we're not putting, here's the practice and then here's my life. It's like, this is my life and my life is the practice. This is it. And it's also important for me to say that it's not about adding more to an already full plate. And it's not creating another like self-improvement project, but learning how to be really present in the life that we're already living. And so really what we're doing is, how do we continue to pause? How do we continue to listen and to notice, to return? So inside the program, we meet weekly as a circle of women, walking this path together. We are actually, tomorrow, I have my last group call for my first cohort, my first container. And it has been an absolute pleasure and joy to walk each other home in this way. And so inside, we do live group calls, there's private sessions, and they have access to a growing library of resources that are all bite-sized, that are very approachable: breathwork, nervous system, meditation, embodiment practices. And one of my favorite things that I get to do is that I create a practice to meet each woman where they're at in their life that actually fits for them, right? So it's unique to what they're experiencing. And usually this is not the practice we think we should be doing, but it's something that we will actually do. Like, how do we make honest agreements with ourselves? Because transformation usually isn't going to come from just like intensity and getting really excited and giving ourselves this crazy list of things we need to do. It happens through consistency and very easy ways to access. So, yeah, it's not designed to change your life in 13 weeks. I think that would be a crazy thing to say, but it's designed to give you practices, relationship, and tools to continue supporting you long after it's over. So if that resonates with you, I'm going to send the replay after this, and there will be an opportunity to book a call with me. And so this call is basically just a conversation. There's no pressure whatsoever. It helps me to even just get an idea of the women that would be interested in this container and what they're looking for. And it's a chance for us to explore what you're navigating and whether that would be a supportive step. So I know that also momentum matters. So if you decide that you want to do that, then I have some sweet little juicy bonuses for anyone who wants to book a clarity call or a connection call. All that being said, you do not need inner sanctuary or anything else for you to be the whole, beautiful, complete human being that you are. Don't let anyone tell yourself differently. You don't tell yourself differently. You are worthy and an absolute, just like magical miracle. And so that is so important for me to say at the end of this. And thank you for coming and practicing and being in this space. It has been a pleasure, and with so much love. Until next time.